Hello, everybody. This is Brian Ankney with AutoSuccess magazine. I appreciate y'all taking the time out of your day to join us today. Today, my guest is Jason Gerdner. He's the founder of Tacoby. And today we're going to actually talk about a topic that I'm really excited because I want to learn more about it. Because I feel that it's one of the more exciting things going on in our industry right now is Facebook is finally paying off big time for car dealers with these lead gen ads. And we're going to go over how to utilize lead gen ads to generate leads. But before we get started, a couple of things I'd like to tell you or share with you. If you look on the screen right now, this is our new AutoSuccess website. On the right side of the screen, you can register if you would like to get the magazine every month sent directly to your phone as a text message. We're going to be adding more and more content that you'll be able to choose, what you'd like to see, when you'd like to see it, and this is the first step. So if you're interested, go to AutoSuccessOnline.com and, sign up so you can get the magazine every month via text message. One more thing before we get started is for those of you that are new to GoToWebinar, depending on what type of device you are on today, if you are on a laptop or a tablet, you probably have a pane that goes down the right side of your screen, and near the bottom it says questions. If you click the plus sign next to questions, you can type in your questions. And please do that as we go. Please type them in as we go. We'll address all the questions at the end. And and in fact, this is a kind of topic you probably will have a lot of questions. So please ask them as we go. Now, if you are watching this on an Android or an Apple, depending on which device you have, you either have a line at the bottom, a header or a footer, or you might have a picture frame that goes all the way around your screen. And on that frame, there's a question mark. If you hit that question mark, it'll allow you to ask questions, and then depending again on what device you have, you might be able to just swipe it away after you ask the question, or you might have to click on the icon that looks like a little monitor, like a desktop monitor. Well, with all that out of the way, I'd like to introduce Jason Gerdner. Jason, please take it away.
Okay, so today we're going to go over lead gen ads and how I've been using them to generate leads for car dealers. I'm going to, for lack of a better term, be freestyling this and just walk you through a live lead gen ad and how to create it. Right now I'm sharing my business manager ad account. If you don't have a business manager account, I recommend you set one up. You just go to business.facebook.com. I'm logged in, but there's a couple steps for you to follow to set up your business and pull all of your assets into it. That's kind of for another day, but you'll probably want to start using Business Manager. So on my Business Manager account, first I'm going to go over some of the results that we've been experiencing. So I've got a list of some clients that I've been running lead gen ads on. On the far right, you'll see the cost per lead. So you can see that Miller Nissan, so far this ad set's generated 100 leads. He's paid about $7.26 a lead. And each of these different ad sets contain various different ads that we run for our clients, ranging anywhere from new cars, used cars, buyback offers, credit offers, just a multitude of different kinds of ads. I've got a lot of them paused right now because the elections have driven up the cost per lead, so I'm waiting until tomorrow or Thursday to turn these back on once Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton stop bidding up all the Facebook inventory. So what you're going to do is from inside of your business manager, which I'll go back here, you're going to basically in the top left, you'll have a little link here, and then you're going to go into your ads manager. You can use the Power Editor. I prefer the ads manager over the Power Editor, so I'm going to show that side. Once you're into your ad account, you're going to want to create a campaign, and it's going to give you some options. Your normal options: website clicks, app installs, event responses, and whatnot. For lead generation, you're going to want to select lead generation. I'm going to just name this test lead generation. Click continue. You'll want to select the page that you're running the ads for. I'm just going to go ahead and select Tacoby as the page that we're going to run the ads for. If you have not accepted these terms, it'll look a little different, and it'll say you need to accept the terms. It's basically Facebook's terms and conditions on what you do with the data that you're capturing on these lead forms. From here, you're just going to go through and create your normal ad. For car dealers, the geography, it depends on the dealership. I usually try and run a radius. Sometimes you'll get a dealer that wants to pinpoint specific areas. With these lead gen ads, we're finding with the process that we use, we can actually pull them much further than what we would typically be able to do. As far as your filters, I know everyone's kind of crazy with these filters. Honestly, I've had the best luck just leaving them wide open. Everyone wants to come in here and try and use the in-market buyers or target people with a specific make. I've done the same thing, and all it does is drive up the cost per lead. So usually, unless I have, like for example, when I ran a Hellcat ad, I targeted Mopar people. But for the majority of the ads, whether it be a buyback, a specific truck, or something like that, I leave my filters pretty open. I'm sure that not many people in the industry are going to tell you that, but that's what I've found to generate the highest, the lowest cost per lead. As far as my placement, I leave it automatic. I do not touch my placement. I let Facebook determine the placement on my budgets. So on all my budgets, I've moved to a lifetime budget. And the reason I do this is because it opens up the ability for you to do some ad scheduling. So let's say that the dealer wants to spend $1,000 or the client wants to spend $1,000. I will put in the ad budget amount, set it as a lifetime budget, and then let's say they want this to end on the 25th or whatever date. Leave the optimization as optimized for leads. And I think this is why leaving my filters are open is working better for me. Because Facebook is learning with their optimization algorithms to display the ads to people that are converting into leads. Bid amount, I leave it as automatic. I let Facebook learn what's going to get me the best return on investment for the amount of money that's being spent. Lead ads are set up as an actual cost per impression. If you break it down, it is broke down into cost per impression, but with the bid amount being automatic and being optimized for leads, it's going to optimize this cost per impression to get more leads. On your ad scheduling, it just really depends on the business hours. You don't want to be generating too many leads outside of business hours. If someone's unable to respond to them, these leads typically need a response within 5 minutes. So I would normally, for a dealer, probably run from 9 till probably 6 or 7. I'm finding that during work hours has the best cost per lead. Running ads while people are sitting at work seems to be the best for me right now. If you go too early in the morning, you're catching people on their drive, and they may be looking through Facebook, but they're not filling out forms or applying for vehicles or anything of that nature. So I find that 9's usually the best, and I'll run them till 6 or 7. Just depends if you have a BDC or who's handling the leads. This ad scheduling is based off of the time zone that the customer's in. So keep that in mind if you're scheduling ads for clients or people that are in other time zones. It will be based on the customer's time zone that you're displaying the ads to. Which also, I forgot to show you up here. Let me scroll up to the top. I always use everyone in this location as opposed to people who live in this location. I just find that it's more accurate. People who live in this location, if you don't have your address updated on your Facebook profile, then you'll get missed. Whereas everyone in this location is similar to geofencing. Facebook's using the location of that person's phone to display the ad to them. So under the scheduling, you'll want to name your ad set, whatever you want to name it. So let's name this new cars. And then delivery is just going to be standard. I really haven't played with that much, so I don't know what it's going to do if you change it. But you click continue. There's a couple different options you have on your ads. I've had luck mainly with the single image ads or the slideshow ads. Video ads, I mean, you can run some videos. It may not be worth the production time to run those videos. Usually just a slideshow of vehicles or a single image ad. So I'm going to grab an image off my desktop here. I don't have one. I can sometimes use the stock images. So let's say, for example, you're doing a credit ad. I'll use something like a bank picture, just something that's going to be related to that particular type of ad that you're running. You don't need to get too crazy with your images. The less text that you have on the image, the more that it's going to be seen. So try and keep your text to a minimum. I don't personally think you should be putting your offers or your prices or logos or anything on the image. It's either going to be a car or something that's just relative to what type of ad you're running. Then you're going to put your headline. Headlines, I mean, you can make them pretty long. You can make them whatever you want. So let's say guaranteed credit approval. So I'll usually make it something along the lines of whatever the ad is based around. On your text, so what I find a lot in Facebook marketing is that people are putting a lot of their offers in their picture instead of using the text up here. I recommend to use the text as your offer. We have financing. So you go through your ad. There's really two buttons that I use, and I'm not going to spend too much time creating this ad because a lot of you probably already know how to do this. But I mainly use the Get Quote and the Apply Now. You can use the Learn More, but the Get Quote and Apply Now really applies for the automotive industry, in my opinion. Just depends on the type of ad. So, for example, on a credit approval ad, I would choose the Apply Now. Then you would give it a description, give it a link. Down here is where you create your forms. So when you create a new form, it's going to ask for a name. So you want to name this appropriate to the type of ad that you created. So this is guaranteed credit approval. You can do your forms in different languages. We actually run ads in English and Spanish, and the Spanish forms you can change it to Spanish so that the form is all in Spanish. You do have some advanced options, so you can edit your field IDs and include it organic. I usually just leave those as they are. You click Next. You can add a context card. So I don't use these because I feel that it's one extra step for the customer to complete. But if you, for some reason, wanted to give the customer this is basically just kind of an explanation of what they clicked on. And you can upload an image that would be up here. You could choose your layout. So let's say you do bullet points. And you could basically just bullet point, and it's really just and change the name of your button at the bottom. It's really just an informational card. I choose not to use them because it's just an extra click to get the lead. So I leave them off. The next screen is going to be your fields. You do have the ability to pull quite a bit of information out of the customer's Facebook profile. So you can see here that you can get name, phone number, street address, city, state, zip code, date of birth, gender, quite a bit of different of information. And then you can even make your own custom questions. So if you wanted to ask them a specific question. I've had great experience just basically pulling first name, last name, phone number, email. Most everyone's going to have this information in their Facebook profile, so it avoids from them having to fill out the form. So once you select the fields that you want to capture, you click Next. It gives you the ability to add your privacy policy link. You really should have a privacy policy that relates to what you're going to do with this data. You would insert your link there, and then you can add a custom disclaimer if you make sure this checkbox is selected. And the custom disclaimer is where you're going to put in your disclaimer for whatever the case may be, if it's a lease offer, a finance offer, or if you're doing some kind of text messaging to the customer, you want to make sure that you're having them explicitly opt in. If you want to even take it a step further, you can force them to explicitly accept that they're text messaging you. Technically, as long as it's in the disclaimer, you should be okay on the text messaging side of things or the email side of things. And then once you've got that created, you create your lead form. You could put a landing page. If I'm running an ad for a specific vehicle, I'll put that vehicle's VDP page in here. If I'm running a new car ad, I'll put a link to the list of new cars. If it's a finance one, I'll put it to the dealership's pre-approval page or whatever they have on finance. Kind of self-explanatory. So now I'm going to back up and actually take you into a live ad so you can see how this all works. So if I come into Miller Nissan's ads here, and I'm going to go into their new car ads, and I'm going to pull up the Rogue No Money Down. I'm going to preview this ad. So this is an ad that was created using the process that I just showed you. This is a drive a brand new Rogue. This is a Rogue with no money down lease offer. Customer sees it in their news feed. They click this Get Quote button. You'll see an information box pop up that's already pre-populated with all my Facebook information. So this really is the beauty of these types of ads. I did not have to go to a third-party website. I didn't go to a lead form. It brought up the pop-up within Facebook, so I'm still inside of Facebook. This works on desktop and mobile, and it's already pre-populated with all my information. Then if I click Next, you can see the disclaimer that we put in for this particular vehicle. This is where they're opting into getting a text message and then all the disclaimer on that specific vehicle. As soon as the customer clicks Submit, and this is kind of the tricky part, this is why a lot of people are not using these yet, is because Facebook has not made the delivery of these very easy. But once someone clicks Submit, you'll be able to, you won't get a notification from Facebook, unfortunately. They don't notify you that there's a new lead. But in your publishing tools on your page, whichever page you selected when you created the ad, you're going to see over on the left you've got lead ads forms. Inside of there is a form library, and this is all the different forms that you've created, and you can see how many leads are in it, and you can download the lead form. This makes it near impossible to utilize these in a to respond to these in a timely manner, which is where I recommend partnering with someone who's already integrated with their API and has a follow-up process on these. Otherwise, you'll basically be spending your whole day sitting here refreshing this page, hoping that the 15 changes to a 16, then you download the leads and you have to pull out which new lead is in there. It really is a difficult process to obtain the leads, which is why I highly recommend integrating with some type of service that is integrated into Facebook's API. That way you save yourself the step of manually retrieving those leads. That's about it right now, Brian. I mean, if we have any questions, we can jump into that.
Yeah, definitely. Our first question is, what is your relevancy scores on leaving it wide open?
The relevancy scores, I can show you a larger ad set. I really don't pay too much attention to my relevancy scores. I feel that that's kind of an old school way of gauging what you're doing, and I'm really focused on lead generation. But let me come in here and customize these columns, and I think I'll add frequency. And relevancy score should be there. So let me drive into the ad set. Well, it looks like Facebook is not giving me a relevancy score. So this ad, you can see we put 8,500 on this. But normally when they're here, I see them in the 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. I mean, they're kind of all over the board depending on the market. I really don't pay much attention to that. My attention is paid to this cost per lead. If the cost per lead gets high, I adjust the ads. If it's low, then we keep pushing that ad. But you can see that even with $8,500, our frequency was only 2.56, and this ran for about 30 days.
All right. Actually, he typed a follow-up. He says you have to go into the ad level.
Let's look in the ad level. Yeah, so I don't have a relevancy score on that one. Let me see if I could pull up a different one. Facebook could be messing with us here. Let's go into Miller. Yeah, for some reason my relevancy scores are not popping up, so I can't answer that question unless they show me the number.
Okay. Um, you mentioned using Mopar for the Hellcat ad. Do you recommend filters for all luxury vehicles?
It just depends on how high end of a vehicle. I mean, if you're in the $60,000 to $100,000 range, I'd recommend not. I mean, when you start pushing into that, 150, 200, it just depends on the luxury brand. Because even on the luxury brands, you can extend your reach. So let's say you're selling a Ferrari, you can sell Ferraris to people all over the country. So I would recommend filtering that, going a little wider on where you're reaching, seeing what it does. But if you're selling a Mercedes, I mean, Mercedes does have vehicles that start in the mid to high 30s, which is average for a lot of people. So I would leave it open. It just really depends on the value of the vehicle. It would take a really extreme case for me to filter down and put Facebook's filters on there. I can't give you a reason of why those filters are messing up my lead cost. I really don't know why. All I know is every time I throw a filter on an ad set, it just messes everything up. I think it may be because part of the custom audiences are coming from third-party data sources, and I don't know if they've got that completely worked out. But yes, on a Ferrari or a Maserati or something along those lines, I would recommend some type of filter. But on your $50,000 to $100,000 luxury vehicle, I'd probably leave it open.
Okay. How many ads should a store run at one time?
That's a really tricky thing to balance, because if you create multiple, you just want to basically make sure that all your ads are run under the same campaign. If you create separate campaigns, they're going to be competing against each other. And then once again, if you put them all into the same ad set, so you'll notice on this dealer I've got 2 different ad sets, because if I put these new cars in this ad set with this buyback that we're doing, the buyback will eventually start pulling because it's got a lower, you see they're at 553 a lead, the buyback's going to start pulling all the inventory. So you just got to kind of play with it. And it just depends on the type of ads. I mean, on the new car ad, I will mix in other types of offer to see which ones pull. So I can see, you can see I've got a 0% APR, and I've also got the no money down on the lease special. So I'll mix them into the same ad set to see which ones are starting to pull. So this is a prime example of one where I'm at 37.46 a lead versus the no money down is at 16.87 a lead. So here in the next day or so, when I turn these back on, if this ad isn't starting to adjust itself, then I'll turn it off. I'll usually create 4 to 5 of these initially, a couple different images with each offer, so you can see that I've got 3 different types of vehicles that we're running the 0% APR on. And then I've got one running on the Rogue, which I already knew that this particular ad would pull leads because I ran it last month. But it really is tricky. And then once again, I recommend, it just depends on your job at the dealership or what you're doing. So a lot of dealers don't have time to sit here and babysit ads like this. So it may be beneficial to partner up with someone to help you run those ads, and keep an eye on those ads, because if you look at, I mean, there's probably 60, 70 ads that I created, which I can guarantee this is probably the largest budget that any dealer has ever spent on Facebook in a 30-day time frame. They spent $23,262. Inside of there, I've got 9 different ad sets, and then in each of these ad sets, I've got anywhere from 12 to 15 ads. So it is a lot of work. I mean, it's a daily constant routine where you get up, you look at your ad costs, you see what's pulling, you make adjustments as needed.
All right, what is a good price per lead for new versus used?
I mean, the buyback is the strongest. This dealer just absolutely crushed it at 15.19 on the buyback. If you look at some of my other dealers, actually Pinnaker is probably the lowest on it. Theirs just ended today. Let me see if I can find theirs real quick. So on this one, we actually ran at 350 a lead. So as far as used cars, this buyback is really, really strong. On the new car side of things, I'm seeing, and this is brand new for this type of volume of leads, so we're still trying to analyze it, but I'm seeing anywhere from 12 to 15, 20, $25 a lead. Even at the 25, let's say you're at the top of that scale and you're pushing $25 a lead, it's still a lot cheaper than any other lead source that's out there right now.
Wow, so there's one on there that says 1,231 leads. How does the dealer even, how do you even respond to that many leads?
What we have is every time a lead is posted, Facebook, we've integrated with Facebook's API, and every time a lead is posted on one of the lead forms, it instantly sends the customer a text message. So within a second of them clicking that lead form, it's actually creating a text message in our system here where we can tell which ad they came off of, sends the text message to the customer, and then we text them back and forth trying to get them into the dealership. I mean, if you're relying solely on downloading the leads from this page here, 1,231 leads is not going to be something that you can handle. But on a text messaging platform, it's probably the easiest and fastest way to manage those leads. I mean, even if you tried calling 1,231 leads, it would take a long time to get through all of those. So basically partner with someone that has the tools and resources available to respond to these leads in a timely manner.
All right. It looks like that's all the questions, Jason. Thank you. That was extremely informative. This is Brian with AutoSuccess again. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I know that this is a super technical webinar, and so if any of you would like to see, the recording, you'd like to share it with somebody else at the dealership, please reach out to Jason or myself. Jason's email is jason@tacoby.com, or you can check out his website, tacoby.com. One thing I'd like to remind everybody is if you haven't yet, please go to Facebook and join AutoSuccess Webinars. It's a group. You just type in AutoSuccess Webinars in the search bar. It'll bring it up, request to become a member. And once you're a member of that group, it's a great place to interact with our speakers, with our AutoSuccess staff. If there's a topic that you'd like to see covered or a person you think would be great for a webinar, or maybe if your dealership is having some incredible success and you'd like to be a part of a webinar, please reach out to me through there. You can also email me, Brian with an I, at AutoSuccessOnline.com. Jason, is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners before we let them go today?
I see that there's Greg Edwards has his hand raised. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if he had a question.
Oh, he did. He asked, what is your relevancy? He was the one asking about the relevancy scores.
Okay, perfect. I mean, it's all about selling cars, and I can tell you that I've been in lead generation for April of next year will make my 16-year anniversary. I've always been in lead generation for car dealerships. I've never seen this volume of leads, and it is going to change the way that automotive advertising and advertising in general works. It's very important that you guys pay attention to this and follow what's going on, because this is a very large, substantial number of leads that are much cheaper than the other leads that exist in the marketplace.
Perfect. Jason, thank you for taking the time to show us this today. And as you continue to find better and better ways, we'll have you back to share with our listeners. Everybody, if you want to see the recording, just let me know. And I hope you come back to join us again for a future AutoSuccess webinar. Have a great afternoon.
All right. Have a great afternoon, everyone. All right. Thanks, Brian.
No problem. Thanks, Jason.